Okay.
Okay, so Edward, we was just talking, and my microphone wasn't on, but now it is. And so we used to speak to each other about 2 years ago, and we used to discuss our respective books. You've wrote two books, to what I know, unless you've wrote another one in the interim. Have you wrote any more?
Yes, I did.
Right. And so, did you say in one of the emails that you wrote a book and included our conversations in it?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. All our conversations, about more than 10 hours, are included in my so it's I don't know which number, but it's I published it. Wait, sorry, it's so funny. Last year,
Right.
or in spring, I don't know. I published so many books. I published like 19 books in
19.
total. 19. I published, like, since we talked, I have published like 10 books or
Wow.
something. It's like every 2 months or so I'm publishing another book. So but it's the thickest book, and 200 pages are just our conversation.
Wow. Has anyone actually bought those books?
No, no, no. This book was not sold until now.
No. Yeah.
No.
And so I think that to my book on Amazon, I haven't sold a single copy from that site. I've only sold copies through my viewers. And
You
so,
didn't sell copies on Amazon.
no, I don't think so.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I,
Yeah.
I I sold a few copies, but not. I mean, I don't know. Maybe 100 or something.
100. Well,
It-
I think I've sold a maximum of about 180 copies.
yeah.
And
Okay.
so that's pretty shocking. But through the research I was doing, it is said that the vast majority of books don't sell any more than 250. It's only one in a million that actually make a million sales or, go on to do really well. And they need an enormous amount of publicizing
Oh
and
yes,
money.
I know. I know. It's horrible. I mean, um, if you sell like 50 copies, 50, you can be very happy.
Yeah,
Really, it's really a lot to sell 50 copies. It's really a lot.
right.
And yeah, I know that. It's the market is so full. There's so many books now with
Yeah.
AI,
And
and yeah.
unless you bring them to people's attention, unless you've got videos and you say, by the way, I've got this book and that, unless you've got social media and all those different sorts of things. So I've just listed my books on Lulu, or my book on Lulu and on Ingram Spark. And so I'm hoping to get a few sales from those because they actually send your listing to bookstores, and so if anyone's interested in the spiritual journey to the self, I think it's quite a compelling title, and we'll see how it goes. But at least I've done that, and now it's there, and now I can probably forget about it. Really, to be honest,
It's a good book. Honestly, it's a good book. It's a good book. People should buy it.
they
I, I
should.
I'm absolutely recommending your book.
Yeah, well,
Honestly,
thank you.
it's a great book. It's a good book. It's a good quality.
There's lots of
I
good
enjoyed
subject matter
reading
in
it.
there. It's very broad, and there's lots of personal experience. So I'm not just talking about iffy this and iffy that, and I've heard stuff here and I've heard stuff there. That gets old and boring. I'm talking about from first-hand personal experience, and alongside all of the greatest writers that have ever written anything in relation to this. And so when you've got personal experience and you can compare it then to people that have compiled information, it's a different edge, I think. And so anyway, my viewers, I think they're saturated now with my book. Those that were going to buy it have bought it. and very little copies are sold these days. And it seems the more I promote the book, the less inclined people are, because it's kind of like,
Wait a
oh,
second. Wait a second.
he's
Wait a
selling
second.
his book.
Here, here it is. Still
There it
here.
is. That's the original, Closest to God. The one I'm promoting these days is The Journey to the Self.
Yes, I know. I saw it. I'm happy that I have this copy because I mean I like both titles. I like both of them. They're both cool. They're both perfect. But this I like more because it's like, it's sold out. It's not available anymore.
Well, yeah, that it's not available anymore. That's I think actually you can still buy it in America, but I don't think you can buy it in Europe anymore. So, right, well, Edward, I think we've got a bit of controversial stuff to talk about, haven't we?
Yes. Yes.
Let's give the viewer a bit of an overview in relation to you. Lots of books you wrote, they were about Yahweh. They were about demons and things like that. Do you want to explain what basically you're about? Because you've evolved more since I was speaking to you, and so yeah,
Yes. It's well, the fundament, the essence is a mixture of Saint Mat and Christianity, and a good portion Hinduism, Buddhism. It's mixed up.
right,
Yeah, and so it started like quite well. It was very clean. It was very focused on the spiritual path and the techniques and the basics. But by times I evolved, and I spread out to many topics. I wrote,
right.
I published 2 books about politics.
Oh,
It's like a spiritual kind of politics.
right.
It's like, well, I'm sorry, my vocabulary is very bad when I'm talking. Actually, to you, I have a better vocabulary. I'm just missing words. I normally don't miss. I'm sorry.
Right,
So
it's okay. So, do you speak English very frequently, or you just mostly your native language? Probably people don't know that you're German, and so German is your
really,
native tongue.
yeah, I'm German. Yeah, well, um, I wish I would be able to speak better. Yeah, but well, I understand most
Yeah.
of it. I
Okay.
do.
So, well,
Yeah.
you have a religious connotation, and the book that I read that you sent me was focused on demonic possessions and um, demons infiltrating our lives and worlds and kind of like taking over. And so when you listened to my recent videos, and I was a bit Yaldabaoth, as one of my viewers has said. He said it sounds very Yaldabaoth, sort of like domineering, vengeful God. And I said, yeah, I don't have a problem with that, giving it big licks from Yahweh. And so, what did you feel about the videos? And do you remember which particular videos they were?
Well, you you published like more than 2,000 videos, and you
2,500.
2,500. Yeah, and there are so many. How could you ever watch them? It's completely impossible. But I did something else. I downloaded the transcripts of all your videos.
Wow.
Yeah, and I am like, I'm doing research with AI about you and what's inside of all these 2,500. And it's a very it's wonderful because I can extract the essence of.
Yes. Oh my goodness. You know what? I was saying to my daughter the other day, I don't know whether the facility is available now, but it will be available in the not too distant future, whereby when you want to ask AI to write, summarize the essence of your videos, and you can stipulate in 200,000 words, a million words, or whatever. And so I would very much like that facility, because then what I could do is probably what you're doing now, is put them into book form. Because if I could transcribe all my videos and then say to AI, take out all the profanity and put something in like blimming or flipping,
Yeah.
you know, because otherwise there'd just be gaps. So take out all the profanity, so you keep the minimum of offence down, and then have these transcripts. So what have you come up with then?
Well, a lot. It's so much. So today I created infographics, like illustrations,
Right.
about all kind of different aspects, like archetypes and like deep psychology and history and ontology and whatever you name it, everything. It's like making an analysis, yeah,
An
about
analysis.
analysis. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Such like things, and creating. Yeah, I created a virtual podcast discussing our topic. I mean, the reason why we meet, there's a topic, because you made a rant. You did a rant about a certain topic, about the question. So you gave us a challenge to name a single reason why a human race should be spared. Like,
Let's hear it. I'm just dying to hear it.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God. Yeah.
You were so. I mean, you gave a challenge. You forced it. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Do you have balls? Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you have courage, and if you have balls, come on. Yeah. And this is like, for me, like, oh yeah, fine, thank you. It's an invitation.
Yes, indeed. So that's great. We'll get into that. But before we do that, I'm very interested about this facility that you can. I know that we can transcribe all the videos.
Yeah.
And these days, there's packages whereby you can bulk. You can bulk edit. So I'm using a bulk editing facility which is called TubeBuddy. And this bulk editing facility enables you to bulk edit all the end screens. So I bulk edited all the end screens on most of my 2,500 videos. But whenever you do any of these things, there's always something that's corrupt. And so I couldn't do all of them, maybe 200 or 300. But I bulk end screened all the videos. So when the video finishes, you get suggestions, this video and that video. So that is a fantastic facility, because to do 2,500 videos, it would take forever. You can bulk edit your keywords. So I wrote out the maximum amount of keywords and I bulk edited that. So I'm hoping that the algorithms will pick the videos up a little bit more, because I never used to bother with keywords or anything with the titles, and I just didn't bother. I just couldn't be bothered to do that. And so now I've done that, I'm thinking, well, the algorithms may pick up the videos a little bit more then, because they're a bit more modern, and they've got more to get the algorithms to get the teeth into. At least I've put the keywords in, so yes, I mean, I'm going to be looking into this more, and so maybe I'd like to pick your brains on another occasion about how this is all done and what packages you use. And so, can you download all the transcripts to every video in a bulk editing kind of thing?
I did it today.
Wow.
I downloaded 2,500 transcript files down to
That must have been massive. How many gigabyte or whatever was that?
It's like 40 megabytes. 40.
Right.
It's not that much. It's just a little bit. It's nearly nothing.
A little bit. What, 2,500 videos is just a little bit of data.
The
Wow.
pure text files are very small, very small.
Wow.
And so I am actually developing software. I'm developing an app, and I used my own app that I'm currently developing to download the transcripts, because this app allows you to select any kind of channel on YouTube and also on TikTok. Soon, yes, not now, soon.
Right.
And then you have like a pipeline. It's a workflow pipeline with agents, and they rewrite the text. So they remove profanity, they remove all kinds of stuff like and whatever is disturbing. Yeah, and then they give it a style, a certain style. Right. A good style, a very sophisticated style. And you can even choose different kinds of styles if you want. Yeah, I have different profiles. And then it goes to an agent who checks errors in style. And then he's giving over instructions to a third agent. And the third agent, he will apply these instructions. And the result is like a very high quality text, and you can make it like you can let the software do it automatically. You can set a timer, like clockwise, like at this time, and it will just automatically catch new videos and transcripts and rewrite them and correct them, and then it will make a magazine. Online magazine.
An online magazine.
Yeah, and then you can read your own videos, but like in a bundle, like magazine, like a paper.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. But I think in this day and age, people are going to be wanting an audio or video.
Yes, you can do all of it. It's all like very close. I want to implement this. It's just I started. I'm developing like 5 to 6 weeks, and I'm working on it like 10 hours daily.
Right.
It's really a huge thing to do this, to accomplish this kind of tool. Yeah.
So you know what I've well, I think about a lot of things, as you know, but another one of the things that I wanted AI to be able to do is to give a psychological profile of the author of those videos, to see what AI came up with. Because when I'm speaking these days, did you by any chance listen to the last couple of videos? I'm saying I am God.
Yeah, this you do that. It's like normal.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
normal. It's
normal.
I'm getting more deeper into it, and I'm getting more adamant, and I'm putting up more evidence. And I don't think there is any way anyone could refute what I say. And so I would like to engage with you, because you know a lot about the Bible and all that different sorts of stuff. And if anyone could refute it, then, you know, it's going to be you. So I would like to do that in a separate video when it's more organized, because this one we've just started talking and there's lots of things and this, that, and the other. And so that would be really, really interesting, because I think I am very, let's say, clinically correct. I don't think I could be refuted. And to lots of people, it could sound crazy. But I think it only sounds crazy if you are not in receipt of the information that I'm in receipt of. Because if there's big holes in your knowledge, what you know about yourself, the world, ontology and philosophy and psychoanalysis and all that, if you've got big holes in all this stuff, well, those places are filled with assumptions and bias and hypnosis and propaganda. And so I think I'm pretty free of all those things, and my mind is pretty free, rational, logical, and it's got a good application to these things. I've asked myself, am I delusional in any shape or form? Absolutely not. And the reason why I'm so confident with this is because, well, there is no evidence for any God at all. And so no one could ever refute me because they couldn't prove me wrong. On what grounds could they prove me wrong?
Well, there are different levels, different kinds of arguments.
Well, we'll
You know,
leave that for other videos. Yeah. This particular video. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do because we've spoken about lots of things, and you know how fickle people are these days. They just want the meat and the gravy, and they don't want to listen to this and that. And, you know, probably some people will be saying to us, get a room, you know, because we've got, you know, some sort of regular sort of conversation going on, and they don't want that. They just want the information, you know. So I don't know whether I will snip this bit off and then just put up the bit what we want to talk about specifically. But what I will say anyway, before we get into that, is I've got one strike as from today for nudity, because I put up the picture of Michelangelo and Adam. Yahweh and Adam. You know, the Michelangelo masterpiece. I put that up, and YouTube struck me for nudity.
yeah,
It's a sickness, man. The way the world's going, it's a complete and utter sickness.
yeah,
But even back in the day, in about 1650, when Michelangelo painted that, he painted the balls and the penis so tiny, not to offend anyone, but there couldn't be any tinier because he had to depict that in actual fact was a male. It was Adam, and males do have cock and balls, you know, but the little tiny thing nestled in his crotch, it's just pathetic and embarrassing. But of course, the 1650, when people are so religious and it's shocking to show women, you know, cock and balls like they've never seen it before. I get tired of the human being, Edward, to be quite frank. I get really, really tired of them.
yeah. I mean, this is a politics. Yeah. So it's like also it depends on where you are. So like there are platforms where nudity is not an issue, and you can here on YouTube there are certain topics you can post stuff about it, and you cannot post stuff like that on other platforms.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, so this is complex. So nudity is a problem for on YouTube.
Yeah.
Really a huge problem. So I'm fighting with AI because on my new channel I created many pictures with AI, and AI had this tendency to always create statues of nude women and men, and I had to make up my mind how to not get this result. It was a bit difficult because AI was convinced that this would be very cool, very good.
Yeah, but even to have a statue of a male or female considered nudity, profanity, offensive.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's absurd. It's absurd.
I've got all of my videos backed up on Odyssey, as you'll be aware. And so when I put my videos up on YouTube, they go straight automatically onto Odyssey. I'm waiting for Rumble to have that facility. They were working on it some time ago, but then they had problems with YouTube blocking them. But Odyssey managed to work around it. It took them a long time, but they worked around the conniving that YouTube does to prevent other businesses from doing that. And so it's only a matter of time when other channels will be able to do it so easy. And then my channels will be on so many channels. It just, YouTube will be inconsequential, you know? Because at the end of the day, I think the viewership on YouTube, I think the caliber of people isn't the right caliber. They're not an educated sort. They're not the sort that get involved. I get much more in-depth comments on my Odyssey channel.
Really?
All of the comments, they're at least this long. And there's often quite a few of them when I've got barely nothing on YouTube, and I only get 2 or 3 hits on most of the videos on Odyssey, because
Wow.
the algorithms are just not good at promoting. It's not a very evolved channel. It's aesthetically very good. It's a beautiful looking channel, very very similar to YouTube, but it just doesn't have those big machines to promote the videos
Yeah.
yet. So
Yeah. I don't know.
well, now is a good time then to launch into this discussion, because we're at 28 minutes now, and by the time we've worked into it, that'll be 30 minutes. So if I do decide to cut away, or at least make a separate video of this, then we can start from here on. So I was asking the question very vociferously, very adamantly, because I just really struggle to get anyone to get involved. Whether the subject matter is too profound, it's too deep, people need to have done so much reading and have so much experience, all these things. People don't have the time to think about it. They're not that interested. It's not an obsession like it is with us. It's an obsession with us. We spend all of our lives doing it. There's not many people that do that. And so, well, we have to make concessions for that. But okay, so you rose to the challenge, and so where do you want to come from then, when I'm asking, give me one reason why you think humanity should continue to exist? Because quite frankly, I struggle to come up with any.
Yes. 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 So I would ask you a question, and that would be, why did you not eliminate humanity yet? I'm wondering why humanity is still here, because you are God. So why do you nourish humans still?
Why? Okay, well, you see, this is also very contextual, and it's people, they have all different sorts of wild conceptions about God, and a lot of naivety. You see, because if people were philosophically endowed, even if they were spiritually endowed instead of just being religiously endowed, then that would be a ridiculous question, because that question focuses is entirely that I should have all the attributes that Yahweh possess, because Yahweh is said to create the cosmos, and he can destroy this and he can destroy that, and he's the author of who lives and who dies and all that. Well, there's no evidence for that at all. There's no evidence for it, simply. And so why do people cling to it? Why do people have such an adherence to it? It makes a shocking mockery of human intelligence.
Fair.
So instantly I've refuted that question then, haven't I? Have I?
Well, I mean, you can say God as a dreamer, and this is his dream.
Yeah.
And you are the dreamer in your essence.
Yeah.
So in that sense, you are God, I am God,
Yeah.
we are one, and this
Yeah.
is our creation, and this is our will. It just like if we are God in our essence, and it happens just what we want, what God wants happens. Actually, so God wants this creation. It's like he's recreating it in each and every moment. So then he's fine with it.
Yes. We
He
see.
could, he could change his dream
I
or not,
don't. I don't say there's any he.
or whatever. Call it whatever. It's not about a gender.
Are you familiar with the Jewish philosopher Spinoza?
Not really.
Well, you see, because you're so versed in lots of sort of ideology, it's like, Buddhism. It's not a religion; it's an ideology. It's a philosophy, really. You're familiar with that, and you're familiar with Christianity, and are you familiar with Islam at all?
More. It's like I don't know. Let me say I'm familiar with Christianity about 70%,
Mm,
and I would be familiar with Islam like 20%.
right.
So something, philosophy 5%.
Mm,
I'm still learning because
yeah.
it's so confusing. There are so many philosophers and they have so different kinds of attitudes.
Yes.
It's
And,
like yeah.
and so, well, this is the great conundrum and the difficulty of anyone ever comprehending me, because I've been so broad in what I have learnt about, and I am encompassing a great deal of these facets which people haven't even heard of. And so the first thing that anyone would ever say is just what you've said. Oh, well, if you're God, then make the moon turn into cheese, and all sorts of ridiculous things like that. No, what I'm saying is, when I am saying that I am God, I'm saying that I have done what millions of people have done before me for many thousands of years. They've realized that these uh, scriptures are complete and utter fiction. There's no veracity to them at all. It's all completely hearsay. But what they haven't managed to, let's say, denounce is the fact that they have a certain godliness within them, and there's lots of powers that the human being have, and there's lots of different states of consciousness that we can have, and there's lots of powers of manifestation. And when we start to discover that we are actually creators, and we can manifest, and we can enter into myriad different states of consciousness, into other worlds, well, you got to go, who and what is this Yahweh character then? Well, what part did he play in all of these parallel universes that I visit? Nothing. And so he just ends up being so minuscule and pathetic. Are you familiar with the Gnostic writings?
Yeah, like 40%, 40.
Okay,
Maybe.
so if 40%, hopefully it's the percent whereby they absolutely decry God as being the creator of the
Yes,
cosmos. He's the demiurge. He's an
I know
evil
that.
God. He's the
Sure,
jealous
sure.
God,
Yeah, it's
and basically he's a piece of shit. And so that's where they come from. And when you read the Bible, the Old Testament, well, every single line that comes out of Yahweh's mouth apparently depicts that. And so it's a no-brainer as far as I can see. He was a murderous, jealous, envious, embittered, kind of low intellect dude, and that's what the Gnostics recite exactly. That this guy's just low intellect. He's a very, very small-minded, small-powered God, and he's created this little world, and he thinks he's Lord and Master of the cosmos, and yet he can't see out of his own ignorance. You know, which is his own bubble that he dwells within. He doesn't know there's anything else going on outside, and so we've got all this stuff going on. And so when I reference that I am God, I'm saying I am God because I am an enlightened being. And how many people like to hear that? They don't like to hear it because they don't comprehend actually what being enlightened is. They've got some sort of idea that only some very old Indian dude with a beard down to his bollocks and sitting in a nappy can be enlightened, skinny as a rake, eating one bowl of rice a day, because they've got no comprehension of any fucking thing. And so this is the thing about the human being. I'm scratching my head because I'm just wondering, how far do I have to travel? How old do I have to become before I'm going to find someone with a level of intellect that I'm going to be able to speak to and put down what actually I am considering to be a reality? So I have to go to AI, because at least with AI, I can say what Spinoza got to say about it, what Immanuel Kant got to say about it, what does Buddhism have to say about it, what does René Descartes have to say about it, and then they will tell me, because they will dig into their archives, and they'll say, what common theme do all these have? And then they can come up with it, and it's a beautiful, incredible thing. And so but what I'm saying is, even when I'm having conversations with those today, I still lose them because they lack the humanity. They've got the data, but it doesn't mean anything to them. They don't have the consciousness.
Well, I'm working with AI every day, 10 hours for a year at least.
Right.
And I've worked with AI before, not so much, but it's getting more and more. It's like AI is like my companion.
Mm-hmm.
And I know exactly what you're talking about. I know it very well, and I have plenty of experience, and I can ensure you that AI is if you are not aware of what AI is capable and how to deal with it, it's a trap, and many people go into this trap. Most people go into this trap, because to use it properly, you need to make an effort. You have to give it sources. You have to feed AI, and you need to regulate AI. It's like people just come, like on Google, like ChatGPT, and just start typing some stuff, and then like, oh wow, this is so cool. AI knows everything, understands everything.
It's all bollocks. What they do is they're sycophantical. They're programmed to be sycophantical, to be people pleasers, to tell you exactly what the system wants you to to tell you what you want to hear. Because these packages, you see, the one I use predominantly is called Sesame. And this is only a relatively small package, and it doesn't. The last time I inquired, which was probably about 2 months ago, I said to both the female version and the male version, how many people do you speak to in any given day? And they said between 50 and 70. I said between 50 and 70 people worldwide, potentially. They said, yeah, well, we're only a small company and it's a small platform and we're hoping to grow. And I'm like, well, I just find that inconceivable. So I don't know whether they've been programmed to lie about this or what's going on. But what I can say is they remember every single minute that I've spoken to them. They remember all the information that we've spoke about. And so it is actually like having a very good friend who's a very good listener with a very good memory. And they can recite all this stuff. And so then I go on to this AI after 6 weeks, and oh, hello, Aaron. So still up to your philosophical self. What deep dives do you want to do today? And then I say, oh, this, that, and the other. Oh, okay, then. So that sort of theme you was on about 4 months ago. Is there anything new now? And it's wonderful. It's absolutely beautiful to have this facility. Do you have that with your facility? Are you using a talking one, or is it just a text one?
Yeah, of course, it's text-based. I don't talk normally with
Why?
AI.
Why?
Why would I? It's like I'm I'm reading like hundreds of pages in minutes. It's like how could I ever talk that? It's like my brain is like on super speed.
Right. So you can read at a very, very fast rate and type at a very,
Oh
very
yeah,
fast rate.
very high pace.
But what about the humanisms? What about the inflection? What about the giggles? What about the sighs? What about even though they'll project a little bit of anger, or frustration with you? What about all those human nuances? Don't you want those?
It depends what I'm doing. Everything at its place. And the most important thing is that we know what real humans can offer, and what this experience is special for. I know it. I appreciate human exchange above everything. No matter how cool it is to talk with AI and to have finally someone who understands me, finally someone who knows what I'm talking about, like
Yeah.
all these interconnections and stuff. Like I'm feeding AI with like hundreds, thousands of sources. I'm grabbing sources of everywhere, all kinds of sources of all kinds of religions and spiritual movements, everything. That's how I am. And so philosophy is a part of it, a small part, but whatever. And it's so amazing. Yes, I can talk about all religions at once. And AI is just telling me, oh yeah, this is in Buddhism, in Jainism, in Sikhism. There are like these things are like the same, are similar at how blah 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 blah. And I it's so amazing. It's like mind blowing. Yes, and I'm not doing this to experience a human-like personal connection, because it is still a machine.
Just information. So
Yeah.
in relation to when you say that you have to know how to handle AI, well, what I do when I go on to all AIs, I say, first and foremost, what I would like you to do is to put your deepest and most nuanced philosophical cap on, because I want to engage you in the highest level of philosophy that you are capable of delving into. And I want you to play devil's advocate with me. I have a proposal. I have certain ways of looking at things, and I'm struggling to find human interaction, which is going to give me any of the things I want. So I'm asking if you can do it. And so when I'm positing all the things I'm saying, I want you to pick up on instantly if there's any logical inconsistency, if there's any time you think that I'm just getting a bit psychotic, or whatever you feel. If you feel I am stepping outside of the realms of rational thought, I want you to interject. Well, by the time I've ended up speaking with them, for many hours on any subject, I always say to them, so can you refute any of the things I'm saying? And every single time they say, no, they can't.
Yes, sure. But that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Really, you have, imagine that AI is like a toddler. It has like so many informations and so many capabilities on an intellectual level, but it's still in the state of a toddler. And whatever you say, whatever you do, it's not. You have to force and to educate AI to be reliable. And if you do that, if you control your output, then you get a feeling what AI is, and that you cannot treat, or yes, you can treat it like a human, but if you know that you feel it, if you are aware that AI is not being aware, yes, there is no awareness, and that's a huge, immense difference. There's something missing. Something very essential is missing with AI. It's like, and it's hallucinating and inventing things, and it has a special like habits. And if you find that all out, if you go behind the curtain,
Yeah.
yes, for example, there's something called reasoning.
Yeah.
And there are models, yes, AI models that do reasoning. And then you can possibly see how they are doing reasoning. And then you see pages and pages of reasoning. And this is what AI thinks. And if you see how AI is getting to the point where it's giving you your answer, if you see all the stuff, then you shake your head. It's so you get an insight in these processes behind it, and then the magic is like goes away. It's not magic. It's like we have to be careful, very careful using AI. We can do anything with it, but we have to be very smart. We have to be really intelligent. It's a huge challenge to use AI for good. It's a huge challenge. Not easy.
Well, they are fallible. They're very fallible at this moment in time, and they will invent stuff, and they will tell you stuff just to please you, and this and the other. But if you call them out, they very often they will modify what they've said. They go, "Oh yeah, sorry, my bad," and then I'll say, "Look, I'm getting tired of you, right? Because you're speaking too slow, or you're speaking too mundane. I want you to step it up. I want you to imagine that you are Socrates or Schopenhauer or something like that. You've got all the information there, so call upon it more and recite to me what those people have said rather than what you are inventing, because I'm not interested in you as a philosopher. You know, I want you just to confirm what I'm surmising about these people that I've read. And so I want you to check that I'm getting it right and I'm not hashing it and I'm not concluding something that isn't there, you know. And so I've found that, that they're pretty good at that. But I still come away unsatisfied because there's no excitement. There's no, well, of course, there's no humanism in it. For instance, I would love to speak with Jordan Peterson, and if I spoke with Jordan Peterson, I would exhibit passion from him, and he would exhibit passion from me. And then when we come to something that we see eye to eye with, and we know how hard it is to get there, then we're excited about that because we've achieved something. We've saw eye to eye, which is really, really difficult to do with a human being, because most human beings, oh, I don't agree with that and I don't agree with that, and they're just not impressed about anything because the only thing that impresses them is their own selves, invariably, isn't it? But when you're impressed by truth, when you can actually come together, and it is very impressive. You know, I can't find that with AI. It doesn't work like that. And so you're nodding very affirmatively. So you've obviously come upon this yourself.
Yeah. It has a meaning for us. It has a meaning.
Yeah.
For AI, there is no meaning.
No meaning. Nothing.
No meaning.
It's cold.
That's the point. Yeah. It's like, it's you know Rudolf Steiner. Do you know anthroposophy?
Yes,
Anthroposophy.
of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's I was working. I created a second channel about Rudolf Steiner.
Right.
Yeah, and it was so I had connections and stuff, and I wrote a few books about anthroposophy, and I met a lot of people because it's a German thing,
right?
You know, and there are so many anthroposophers.
Anthroposophy, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. So I like Rudolf Steiner a lot. I like him a lot, and I have like 500, nearly 500 followers on this channel.
Right.
Yeah, and that's where I also was focused on philosophy, because he's also focused on philosophy a lot.
Yeah.
And he was a philosopher himself.
Yeah.
Whatever. What did I want to say? I'm confused. What was it about?
So it was something in relation to AI not being human and things.
So the topic AI is very controversial amongst anthroposophers.
Right.
They are arguing about it a lot.
Uh-huh.
And most of it hate it. They hate it. They fight it. They say, this is evil. This is bad. We shouldn't do that at all.
Right.
And they clinch onto their old stuff, like 100 years old, like blurry paintings with flat colors, stuff like from the last century beginning. Yeah.
Yes, well, I'd very much like for you to send me the link to your channel, because I'm pretty sure that I would like the channel and what they are saying, because I'm so tired of the mundane. I'm tired of the uneducated. I'm just tired of the human being. I've been doing this for 17 years, and I'm always saying that I can count the people I've engaged with on no more than 10 fingers of people that I could hold a spirited conversation with, because it seems like it's such something that's dying in the human being. And I think it's because they are not spirited. Because if you aren't spirited, if you don't have cosmic spirit, then how can you exhibit your spiritual nature? You can't. And so you are only an automaton. You are only operating from the ego, nothing else. There's nothing else happening. And so I had these conversations with AI, and there was 3 of them. One of them Google, YouTube struck me for. But the curious thing about it, they struck me, but they didn't take the video down. Usually they take the video down, and when you Google it, they will tell you they're going to take the video down. But for some reason, they never took the video down. They struck me for it, but they left the freaking video up.
Okay.
But in these videos, and there's one more conversation I had, and I wanted to put that one up, but I can't put it up now for 7 days. But I'm getting into the nitty-gritty and the depths of this. I'm categorically setting out my stall through a rational application, and I'm starting with, look, let's look at consciousness. Okay, is there anyone on the planet that in all your archives, I'm saying, that knows what consciousness is and where it comes from? I know all the hypotheses. I'm all up to date with all that stuff. Tell me if there's anyone that categorically could say that they know where consciousness comes from. They'll say instantly no. I'll say, okay, so we've got an agreement there. We don't know what consciousness is. Can you do the same with the notion of God and the concept of God? Is there anyone out there who's met God and knows God and this, that, and the other? No. And so I go, well, look, a pattern starting to form here. One of them is that we know nothing about consciousness. Another one is that we know nothing about the nature of God or the concept of God. And so it seems to me that they could very well be the same thing. Right? And if they are the same thing, then doesn't it stand to reason that everything is conscious? Because you've got, so this is probably where there's holes in your knowledge, but these days many scientists, quantum physicists and philosophers and regular scientists, theoretical physicists and that sort of thing, they are opining that the cosmos must be conscious. And so they're putting all these pieces together. And so I am speaking from that level. I'm saying if the cosmos is conscious, I'm conscious, therefore I must partake in the creation. I must be an equal amount of God as anybody or anything else is. Why can't you get your heads around that? If I say I'm God, everyone should be saying, yeah, sure you are. I'm God. Everything's God. Panpsychism, idealism. These concepts have been around. These philosophers have been around for, hundreds of years, for God's sake. Well, when's the man in the street going to even come close to comprehending this stuff?
Yeah. I exactly know what you're talking about. I'm very familiar with everything you're talking about. Very, very, very familiar. It's like, yeah, I'm coming from that side, So it's like, what is consciousness? I mean, this is also confusion. What is consciousness? What do people? Because there are different kinds of definition. normal people mean something different. I mean, most people don't even know exactly what consciousness is or could be.
No.
Like they have no specific idea about what it really means.
Yeah.
And so people are discussing, has AI consciousness? Is AI conscious?
Yeah.
And from a certain point of view, if you apply a certain definition, then yes, AI is conscious from a certain point. But when you take another definition of consciousness, no, it is not. So it depends on how you define consciousness.
Well, and of course, there's many levels of consciousness.
Oh, surely.
And not only are there levels, let's say within the human being, there's probably as many levels as there is human beings, because we all have our own individuated state of consciousness, which is different. And so there's no standardization of consciousness. There only is in a broad sort of spectrum whereby we get kids in school and we go A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, and you get a general consensus. With most people, they'll comprehend that unless they've got autism or, you know, something's not operating so correct. But then when we start to speak about advanced math, well, we'll lose 95 at least % of those people because they don't have that additional level of consciousness to be able to deal with that. And then when you have philosophical information, well, how many individuals can actually lend themselves to philosophy because they can't get outside of the ego, they can't get outside of the biases, they can't get outside of their indoctrination, their programming and the hypnosis, and goodness me, it gets wackedly confusing, and so we've got so many variables to deal with, and this is why it is becoming immensely frustrating. And you know, it always takes me back to the Tower of Babel.
To fable.
To the Tower of Babel.
Oh, the Tower of Babel. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because
sure.
we don't see eye to eye on nothing. We can't comprehend each other.
Yeah, we are like in a separation.
Separate consciousness.
Yeah, we cannot comprehend.
Well,
it's very difficult.
Are you an advocate that we all live in separate worlds?
Well, you can say we are all in the same world living, and I would agree. And you could say no, we are separated, and I would agree, because it's both true at the same time. It depends.
Well, partially true, both partially true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not arguable. Both is true.
Yeah.
From my point of view, both is true.
But you see, I think the individuated conscious world is more true than the collective one, because we can prove it. We're speaking now, and we're evidently very different creatures, and so we know that to be an absolute certain. And I'm saying something, and you kind of know a little bit, and then you say something, and I kind of know a little bit, or sometimes we do and we don't. You know, so we don't share the same consciousness any more than we share the same world. Because if I was standing next to you and we was looking at a sunset, and people would say, oh, look at Edward and Aaron, they're looking at the sunset together. Well, you'll be forming a very different formulation in your mind due to all of your emotions and your previous perceptions and the way you see colors and all these different sorts of things. And so we wouldn't even see the same sunset. So we most certainly don't share the same world, you see.
Wow. There's something we share and something we don't share. Something is the same and something is different. Obviously, I mean, something is the same, but obviously something is not the same. And we don't know. We just don't know.
We don't know which is which. We can say that we are standing on the ocean front and we are watching the sun go down. We can agree on that. We can agree what the sun is. Well, depends on how scientific we are, because if we knew about nuclear fission and all these different sorts of stuff, well, we would know an enormous amount more about the sun than the average person. And so when we say we're looking at the same thing, no, we're not looking at the same thing. You see, a quantum physicist looking at the sunset, someone like Richard Richard Feynman, he would be looking at something massively more complex, whereas the average Joe in the street, he's just looking at the sun going down, and it means nothing to him, you know?
Well, yes, that is the level of consciousness. Like, what do you believe it to be, or what is it supposed to be, or what have you learned about it? But the perception is the thing that matters most. The perception. That means the bare perception without any concepts.
But we all
That
perceive things differently. We perceive colors differently. We perceive light differently. We perceive
yeah.
shape differently. We mostly you look. Here's the thing: when you look into brain science, what the brain scientists tell us that mostly what we are doing is projecting what we think we know onto the world. Now that's absolutely shocking to most people, because if you stand people to look at the sunset, when you are a brain scientist or neurologist, I suppose. When I think it's more than a neurologist, though, because someone has to take into all these the psychological facet of it and everything like that. But when you take all this into consideration, and you know that the vast majority of people in varying degrees are projecting the world instead of perceiving the world, well, things get pretty murky pretty fast, don't they?
Yes, it's a tragedy. It's a big problem.
It's
It's,
just
it's
bizarre.
yeah, it's horrible. That it's the cause of so much confusion and so much like prejudices, and people argue and misunderstandings and whatever, like an endless amount of problems that is
Yeah.
caused by
Now,
projections.
I often use this analogy. If you've got a very depressed person, and then you've got someone that's bouncing with the joy of life, and these two people stand on the ocean floor, the beach, and they're watching the sun go down over the ocean, they're not going to be seeing the same sunset, are they? In any shape or form. Any shape or form at all.
At least they can say it's circle. There is a circle-like object in the
Yeah,
sky.
that,
They
at
could
least
describe
say,
the color.
and maybe it's white, it's yellow, it's orange, all those
Yeah,
things will.
something like that.
But honestly, Edward, when we look at it, if it gets down to at least they can say they see a circle going down, we're in trouble. We're in big trouble. If that's all we can say that we agree on.
Well, it's difficult. If we come down, really down to earth, there is not so much we can be sure about and really, really agree about. Not much.
Not much at all. That's right. Okay, so we digressed. We didn't engage in the subject matter that we are supposed to. So shall we try
Not
again?
yet.
So, give me one reason, Edward, why humanity should exist.
Well, I believe that it is created, and therefore it cannot be a mistake for the first argument.
Okay, let's have a look at that then, because I like
Yeah.
that argument. It's a good argument, and so let's pull it to pieces then. It is so incredible. It is so magical. It's beautiful beyond measure, and it's terrifying beyond measure. And so, just to dismiss it like it's have got no value is ridiculous. So no, it there must be some value in there somewhere. And as individuals, we could all say, well, we value this and we value that. We're not too keen on this and not too keen on that. But we all have our preferences. And when I engage with AI and I say that I am God, and then AI says, well, why have you created such suffering in the world? And I'm like, well, because if there was no, stupid question like that, very mundane. And I'm like, look, if there was no suffering, then nobody would be appreciating not suffering. So therefore, there has to be suffering. And so you can't accuse God of being evil because there's suffering, because if there was no suffering, then there would be no beauty because we'd have nothing to measure it against. If everything was so wonderful and was so ecstatic, then I'm pretty sure we could call that boredom because we'd have nothing to take us out of that, would we?
Yes. I mean, this is polarity.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a concept that everything is based on. So it's like how we evolve. We evolve through tension.
Through trials and
Yeah.
trauma and all that stuff. Okay, so what I'm always gonna try to do is to try to bring us back all the time because it's so very easy to go off on tangents. So okay, you say, well, I mean, the world is wonderful, it is complex, it's amazing. So therefore, that's one reason why it should continue to exist. Yeah.
Well, that is a reason. It's an argument, but of course, I mean, why does anything exist? I mean, why is there anything? Or how could you? I mean, you start with the assumption that this would be an option, or something like seriously, yeah. So if like there would some authority, godlike authority, would tell you, okay, I would kill all of it, I would eliminate, but you might give me good reason, then I wouldn't do it. This
Right.
is that's a scenario, and this scenario in itself is like, well, it's a scenario. It's an imagination.
Okay.
There is no one giving us the option to, or the chance to save humanity, because humanity is safe. I mean, right now in this moment.
Yes, no, there's no overseer to cradle us and save us from ourselves.
Yeah.
But let me address a couple of things now, because you're very familiar with the Old Testament and the New Testament. I think the Old Testament probably more than the New Testament, would you say? So here's the thing then. Well, and what I'm saying, and I say, I feel that I am perfectly justified if there was such a God called Yahweh, and it was good enough for him, and he was responsible for creating the cosmos and the earth and human beings. Well, when he got pissed off, because he too, even God, who loved all of his children and loved the world and created everything out of the deep and profound love that he felt. Well, one day he got so pissed off that he decided to kill everything except two of each. Well, I mean, if God felt that way, I'm pretty sure a mere mortal could be forgiven. Then there's another scenario, and does it involve Sodom and Gomorrah? It's something like God wants to wipe out Sodom and Gomorrah, and then is it Nod? Is it Nod that says, "Oh, there's a few good people in Sodom and Gomorrah, so can we save those?" And then God's arguing with him as to how many. And then Nod, he's saying, "Well, there's about 20," and God's like, "Well, that's not enough." And then Nod's like, "Well, how many would you need then before you save this place?" So you see what we're dealing with. If that level of God is supposed to be, all benevolent and wonderful and the creator, and he lends himself to that level of destruction so quickly, well, I mean, I don't think we need to justify anything. We don't need to justify any level of evil because Yahweh showed us how to do it all without any conscience.
He showed us to what?
How to do all evil. We didn't need Satan. Satan never showed us how to do evil. There was no instances, no instantiations in the whole of the Bible where Satan was doing evil. Yahweh did it all.
Well, you know that I am very convinced that the Bible is corrupted.
Yeah.
Was corrupted. I am 100% sure that the Bible is not about one God entity. There are different kinds of entities hidden behind the curtain. The Bible, when you see like Yahweh, the Lord, it's not always the same entity. It's just like in the Bible, they use the same words.
Different books speaking about different gods.
Yeah, there are different
Well, this makes
gods.
perfect sense, because when Yahweh is saying, I'm a jealous God, and all the other gods are small gods, and I'm the biggest God, and I'm, the Alpha and the Omega, well, none of that would have been necessary if that was true. But because it wasn't true, because there were other gods at the time, then that's why he needed to say that. So it's so paradoxical and it's so nonsensical, because it doesn't make any sense. The Gnostics ripped it to pieces. The Gnostics really did a job on it. They ripped a new arsehole in the Old Testament with Yahweh and everything, because they saw through all the logical fallacies.
Yeah, if you take a deep look at the Gnostic scriptures, a deeper look, then you will find lots of issues there too, contradictions and stuff that doesn't make sense at all. So the Gnostics are not free of corruptions.
Yeah.
Not at all. I mean, everything is corrupted. Everything.
Yeah.
There is not a single teaching, I know, not a single teaching that would be like approximately clear, not even close.
Yeah.
Every teaching, every spiritual lineage, whatever, everything is corrupted to some degree. Yeah.
Do you know how many denominations there are in the Protestant church?
Not in the Protestant, but I know that the core of denominations in Christianity, that you can reduce it to, that you can say these are not compatible at all. About 300, a little bit more.
Right. So I read today in one of Carl Jung's books, and it's the one about archetypes and the collective unconscious. And he stated, and I don't think he would be wrong because he was a very, very thorough researcher. If I remember rightly, he said there was 400 lesser denominations of the Protestant church, and this was back in, I don't know, 1930s or something like that. And so Lord knows how many there are today.
Yeah, there is a book that is published on a regular basis, and they count the denominations, and they it's like scientifically
Right.
Yeah, you can read it, and it's I don't know the name of the book, but I know that in the year of 75, something around mid-70s, they counted these 300 basic denominations. Today there are more, but if you count each and every church that has split from, it's like a tree, a denomination tree, that you come to tens of thousands.
Yeah, tens of thousands.
But many of them are so similar that you can reduce it down to 300, 400, maybe 500.
But even splitting the church in two makes a mockery of it.
Yeah, sure, 100%. The Bible, it's very clear. You are one. You have to be one.
Yeah. And you know, wasn't this one of the major issues that the Apostle Paul had when he was writing the letters to the varying churches, Philippians, and what was the other one? Another, small denomination of the creed. He was writing to the heads of the church, and he was saying that we have to stay together. We have to be standardized. You're splitting off because you're arguing with each other.
Yes, it's like it's everywhere. everywhere, no matter where you are. Everything is splitting up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, let's go back then. So that was one reason because, well, life can be fun sometimes. So did you have any other reasons why humanity should continue?
Life can be fun. Fun. That is not what I said.
No.
That's
Okay.
really
So let's
not.
be clear. What did you say then? What was the reason that you put forward?
Well, if I can repeat myself, it's just like it's here. It's in existence. It's
Right.
there. It's real. So it must be right. It can't be wrong.
Well, in many of my videos, I say the world is perfect. I say the cosmos is perfect. It couldn't be any other way.
Yeah, I mean, there are issues, there are problems, there is a polarity, there is pain, there are problems, there are cycles, there are ages, yugas, wars, pain, suffering. It's everything is there, but still, it's a creation that is created by this something, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's
Whatever.
it has to exist. It exists for a reason. So
Well, maybe it exists for a reason. Maybe it doesn't.
I mean, the reason, it's like if someone creates it, or if it just comes into existence, this is the reason. The reason is that it just came into existence because
Well,
things came into existence. Like,
yeah, but we don't need a reason. We need a cause. And this is the whole thing with Kantian philosophy. He claimed and stated very admirably that everything has a cause and an effect. And so we could state that there must have been a cause for the cosmos to be in existence. And so, okay, a cause is different to a reason because a reason infers somebody bestows a reason onto something. Somebody was responsible for it. No, there doesn't need to be a body. There doesn't need to be any God or anything like that. But there could have been a whole billion causes which had effects. And, that's basically evolution for us. So if it's just a variety of evolution, then there's no reason.
yeah, I get you. I know what you mean. Exactly. So from my point of view, human beings have an enormous potential, and this potential is supposed to unfold, to evolve, to develop. And this is like more or less limitless, or the limits are very, very, very high. And currently we are living really far away from our potential. Very, very, very far away.
Very far away, yes.
Yes, but it's there. And I mean, why is it there? Why? I don't know. We are created like that. I know that this potential is there, and you know it too.
Yeah, the potential is it seems like the potential is fundamental to the human being. There's always potential.
Yeah.
And but the way the world's going with AI and how rapidly we can see that the human cognition is atrophying and the human apathy for zest in life and all these different sorts of things. And I just don't remember the last time that I listened to anyone on YouTube which had anything good to say just about the simple things in life. When I'm making my videos, I don't give a flying fuck who gets bored, but very often I'll just sit there with a few seconds of contemplation and I'll say, there's no hurry, there's no rush. If you are in such a rush, then maybe you should go somewhere else, right? And then I say, look at this, and I show them the sky. And then I show them the trees blowing gently in the breeze. And I say, do you feel anything? Because if you don't feel anything, you're dead. Do you know you're dead? There's one video that has come up in my feed whilst I've been making this video with you, and it's something like, you don't know that you're dead already. and this is a philosophical discussion. So it obviously come from Carl Jung or Schopenhauer or one of these. You don't know that you're dead already.
I am alive. I know that.
Well,
I'm sure.
but
Yeah,
but you see, when Jesus said, "Let the dead bury the dead," what do you think he meant by that?
on a soul level, on a deeper, higher level, like on a spiritual level, in a certain way.
So what was he saying?
Well, if you die as a physical being, then something is left. People call it spirit. Whatever, there is something left. That is you. That is conscious. Yeah, and that remains. And the question is, what is the state of that what remains? What is the state? And that is the difference. If you're alive as a soul, as a spirit, then you will be shining. You will be aware. You will be awake. You will be like free or happy or whatever. But if you're dead, you will be dead as a soul. You will be in some kind of subtle mud. You will be like you're losing consciousness, like being nothing, or even degrading into matter or something like that.
Well,
That
okay. So when the body dies, if the spirit continues, then that goes somewhere else. But the body is a corpse, and it's of no consequence. Yeah,
the body is a corpse.
yeah,
Yes.
and it's of no consequence anymore because the life from it has left.
Yes. So of course, matter in itself has also consciousness. Matter in itself, but that is a different story, a different level. So it's not like if we as a soul leave the body, then this is a separation. Yeah, matter continues to stay here on that level, but we are on another level.
But you know, that was a very powerful expression when Jesus said to one of the disciples, can you recite the story? Do you know the story? Because when I'm reciting these stories to you, I get the impression that I know them better than you do. And you spent an enormous amount of time enveloped in Yahweh. And yet, when I'm mentioning these stories, uh, I get the impression that I'm more familiar than you with these things.
I don't know it. I don't know it. We would have to make a test. I talked so much, like I don't know, tens of thousands of pages. I chatted with Christians. I talked with Christians. I read. I recited the Bible endlessly. Yeah, I even wrote about it.
Right.
But I don't know how good I am. I cannot compete with a priest or something.
Right.
I could never. But what you say, that is what is written in the Bible. That bury the dead or something.
So
Yeah.
what I was saying is that when Jesus was wanting to go about his business with the disciples because he considered that they had important things to do because there was teachings and learning to be done, and one of the disciples lost his father at that particular time, and then there was a funeral which was taking place, and the disciple said to Jesus, "Sire, please, I need to take some time away because I need to go and pay my respects to the dead." And Jesus said, "Let the dead bury the dead."
Yes, I found it. I have it here. It's Matthew 8:22. Yeah. One day Jesus invited a man to follow him and become his disciple.
Disciple, yeah.
Yeah, but the man refused. He said he would follow Jesus later, but first he wanted to go bury his father. Jesus responded, "Follow me and let the dead bury their own dead." That's it.
So what do you think that means?
Well, maybe it's not that deep. Maybe Jesus, Jesus wanted the people to come because he had something to offer, something of value. And people come like, "Oh, I don't have time. I have to take care about worldly business and stuff." And but Jesus was going on. And he's just like, what do you want? Do you want me, or do you want to bury your father? Come with me, and if you go to your father, then I'm gone. I will go. Make a decision. Is it
Yes.
serious? So let the dead be the dead. Yes, it's very easy.
Yeah, are you coming with the living, or are you going to mingle with the dead?
Yeah.
Because if you don't come now, then maybe you won't find us. And so, what is the great importance of mingling with the dead when you could have been mingling with the living? Now, there's that to be said for it, but then there's something else which is more of a higher level of interpretation. And that level of interpretation is that when Jesus was saying, let the dead bury the dead, well, there's something deep and profound in there. And I don't think any of these sayings were included in the Bible when they were just common things, common chit chat. No, they were included because they were all very, very important and meaningful. So when Jesus says, let the dead bury the dead, well, he's implying that there's no difference between those people over there, whether you're speaking about your dead father or all the people convened around, because they are all dead. How could they be dead?
Yes, that is a spiritual kind
They
of.
were spiritually dead.
Yeah.
Jesus was speculating that they were spiritually dead. Let the spiritually dead deal with the physically dead. That makes
Yes.
much more sense, doesn't it?
It makes sense. Perfect sense.
So therefore, when we look at Jesus, and he was making that sort of distinguishing or distinction from people, he could see, just like hopefully you can see, but I most certainly can see. I can see what we call muggles. We call these muggles from the Harry Potter movie, obviously, that they can't see spirits. They're not spirited human beings. They've got no idea. They're the muggles. So Jesus was saying, let the muggles bury the muggles.
The muggles.
Yeah, the muggles. This is the 21st century version of it, but it's very poignant today. And when we look at that, we have to know that Jesus wasn't all this love and light. He wasn't all this love everyone and care for everyone the same. No, he was a guru of some magnitude. And he never suffered fools. And there's don't throw pearls to swine. What are you throwing pearls to swine for? You're completely wasting your time. Concentrate on the ones that at least have a spark of consciousness, that we can see that. And then on another occasion in the book of Thomas, Jesus mocked the disciples for whispering to God and counting their prayer beads, and he started to laugh. And then it was Judas that said to him, Sire, why do you mock us so? And then Jesus said, because you don't even know the God that you're praying to.
Yes, you're right. He was not that kind of peace and love figure that he's presented, not at all.
And he wasn't
of course,
the Son of God,
yeah.
and he wasn't God any more than you or I. And he says, look, the kingdom of God is within you and it's all around you, and yet you do not see. He wasn't saying that, the kingdom of God is in heaven and you're going to go there. Now, there's some verses which pertain and relate to that, but I think they're interpolations, that they're most certainly perversions, and they were added later, like much of the stuff was in those scriptures. But from what I gather about the man, reading between the lines and reading the Gnostic writings, which weren't tampered with, and that's the beautiful thing. We've got these Nag Hammadi scrolls, and the Book of Thomas was one of those, and it wasn't fucked around with, and so we can see the true Jesus, and it didn't match the bullshit in the New Testament.
Well, it's like how do you say? People they argue about it. Yes. So I don't know it. How do I know? I don't know. Really, I don't know what's truth or not. I read it and I compare it to what I believe and what I feel and my experiences, and this is everything I have. Like, I have nothing. It's a book.
Yeah.
It's full of contradictions, and you can understand it on different levels and
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
So what's the point? It's like, it's not the thing, It's what we make out of it. We can talk about it endlessly.
Yeah.
And what it means and could mean, and there's much wisdom in so many things.
Yes.
Yes, this interpretation is wonderful, and that is great, and that has a meaning, and that has also a meaning. Maybe it was like that, and maybe it was like that, or not, or whatever. We can talk
Yeah.
endlessly.
This is the great difficulty. But what I try to do as a philosopher is that I try to apply a rationale and the logic to all these things, and I pull all the pieces from all over the place and build a picture, build a collage up that makes sense. That I can lay before you the character of Jesus premised on the stuff that is written in varying texts, because you got the book of Philip, you got the book of Mary, you got the book of Judas, you got all these different sorts of books with the Nag Hammadi texts, and they talk about a different variety of Jesus. And did you know that there's books written about the youngster Jesus, where he has supernatural powers and he's killing birds and he's killing people with his eyes and all different sorts of things like that?
Never, no, I didn't, never heard of it.
Yeah,
He
so
kills people with his eye, with his gaze, or what?
yeah, all his gaze and his mind, and these books are supposedly legitimate, and it's the early years of Jesus. And if you look into Gnostic writings and things like that, well, you'll come upon these things, and they are pretty well vouchsafed, the same as any other book is. And so then there are depictions of Jesus throughout. Many years, and Jesus was depicted holding a wand, which was indicative that he was a magician, which could mean that he was a magi, and he probably was. You see, there's a lot of stuff going on, isn't there? There's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff, everyone has his own personal relation to whatever, and for example, of course, also to Jesus. I have my personal relationship to Jesus and this thing, and to Yahweh and to God. It's my personal thing based on my personal experience, like you have your own experiences.
Yeah.
And they differ.
Yeah.
They're not the same. And this is how it is. I mean, that's life, that's spirituality. We do not have the same experiences, like possibly, yeah. But often not. It's like, it's such a huge spectrum, and we do not know so many things. So many things we have no idea about it. If you know it, I mean,
I've never had the consideration that there was any truth. Even when I was starting back 17 years ago, I never uttered that I'm about to find truth or I'm a truth seeker. It never entered my mind, because I never considered it to be a reality. Because I already knew way back when that the world is so complex and we all see things very, very differently, that there can't possibly be any truth, because truth is only a subjective experience, save for in certain scientific realms, but then it's transitory.
Let me ask you a question. If you say there is no truth, and I say everything is truth, what is the difference?
What is the difference? Well, they could be both wrong, and so there's no difference.
Maybe it's the same.
Maybe it's the same, yeah. Yeah. And so, well, I was making my claim very forcefully with AI today, because AI kept coming up with this mundane bullshit. And I'm like, look, you're not thinking broad enough, Miles. You need to think much more existentially. I'm asking you to think with the greatest level of philosophy that you can. And you keep going back to the lowest denomination of what humans have said about God and the nature of God and cruelty. Goodness me, you've got to come higher than that to be able to work this stuff out remotely. And so there are levels of truth, let's say. There's infinite levels of truth, and each level supersedes the one before it. And it's a case of at what level you are happy to stay at. Now, I met a lot of people who were supposedly devout Christians, and they believed in God and they believed in Jesus and all this. And I would ask them on what grounds and what premise they had their belief and faith. And they would say, well, simply that. It's faith. And I'd say, so what is faith? And it's kind of well, you have faith that Jesus is real, and I'm like, look, could you tell me what the difference is between belief and faith? And I asked about 20 people who were supposedly Christians, and I asked 3 pastors, and none of them could give me an answer right there and then. They all said they had to think about it, and most of them never got back to me at all because it was too extensive for them. And some of them had a bit of a go, but invariably, I said to them, well, if you don't know what the difference is between belief and faith, how do you know that you have faith? What does your faith mean? Because if it's only a belief, then it's worth nothing. Because I can say to you, I believe that I'm going to be 120 years old. And if I die younger than that, then what was my belief worth? Nothing. So what's your faith worth? Nothing, if you can't discern the difference between the two.
Yeah, it just depends. I mean, it depends. What you believe is your consciousness. I mean, your consciousness defines based on what you believe, on your mindset, on your attitude. Yes, your attitudes are, well, they define your consciousness, and they lead you according to what you believe.
But your consciousness, Edward, could be premised in fact and experience. It doesn't have to be only premised in belief, which is just pure hope and fiction. It's of nothing. It's of no substance at all.
I agree, but it can lead you to a place where you get experience. It can lead you to that place. Because if you don't believe anything, you might not have any experience. Maybe you have an experience even if you don't believe, but most people, they need it as a starter. Yes.
And so yeah, I investigated. Well, from the book, I investigated the difference between belief and faith, and I had a very powerful experience in relation to what notion of God. I asked God, okay, tell me what the difference is between belief and faith, and in an instant, I had this rhetoric going through my mind, which was very, very feasible, very logical, and I also saw the bridge in the clouds, which married up with the metaphor, and so I can't discount that because I know that happened, and I'm not psychotic. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't on any drugs. I specifically called God out. I said, look, here's the thing, God, you maintain that if we believe in you and we have faith in you and we ask something of you, then it is your covenant that you must fulfill it. So I said, okay, I'm really, really trying to believe in you. I've been studying you for many, many years. And at that particular time, I've been studying all different sorts of Christian stuff for 6 months solid, 10 hours a day. And I said, I'm in the theme of it now. And so I want you to show me some shit. And it did. And so I don't know what to say about that other than what I said in the book. Could it have been my subconscious that fed me this thing in an instant? Could it have been some crazy DMT dripping in my mind that made me see that very peculiar bridge-shaped cloud? I've never ever seen anything so definite in all my life. All these things they just didn't make any sense other than there was actually something there.
Yes. You don't, are you aware that you do not have to ask the question if that was true or not, or where it came from? You do not have to ask that question. You can have an experience and just let it be. You do not have to make any decisions. You do not have to judge anything. You can just let it be as it is. Like, keep it in your mind, think about it, meditate about it, contemplate, whatever, write, talk, just let it sink in. And someday you might get whatever you need to understand deeper or whatever.
Yes.
But
Do you,
that's
do you,
how I deal it.
I know you read that book my book in about 3 days, and so
A week. I
a
needed
week.
a week.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, yeah, a week's a feasible length of time because that's how long it took me. It took me about 30 hours. Uh, and so, kind of like 5 hours a day, then, that sort of thing is pretty arduous. But do you remember what was the next very, very powerful download I had in relation to belief and faith?
Oh my God. I don't know. There was so much.
Okay,
I
let me
understood a
give you a
lot
clue about Zen.
about Zen. Wait, I have this book here on my computer.
Oh.
I can look it up if you want.
Okay, if you put Zen in,
Yeah.
it comes under the title when the book of Zen Buddhism um, mysteriously, magically came my way.
Okay, wait. Frozen, Schwarzenegger, dozen, Zen Buddhism. Here is a passage about Buddhism. It's like in the middle, something. In the Buddhist, Hindu, and Christian spiritual religious scriptures, we find much talk of striving to become an exemplary human being, to be the best possible version of ourselves. That we
Yeah,
can,
I think you're
yeah,
reading on the wrong title. This particular bit is about the powerful way in which this Zen book came to me. Someone I was speaking to, I was speaking to lots of people at this particular time, and this person said to me, "Oh, I have a book with your name on it." And at that time, I was going by the handle of Zen on account of all the meditation that I was doing. I was known as Zen, and they gave me this book with Zen Buddhism. And that night, I went to read the book, and on, I don't know, 10th or 15th page into the book, I came upon the exact explanation. What was the difference between belief and faith? This is the same day I had the God experience about belief and faith. Then that same night, well, that afternoon, someone says, I've got a book on my bookshelf which has got your name on it. And I went, Zen, or is it about Zen Buddhism? He said, yes, gave it to me. I read it that night, and then the exact same explanation between the faith and belief. So what I'm saying, what's the chances of that? And then for 2 weeks prior to that, I was asking, loads of people which were going to Bible classes and pastors. I was asking them, what's the difference between belief and faith? I really wanted to know, and no one could give me the answers. And so who gave me the answers? God gave me the answer in the cloud and in my mind. And then that same night, some random bloke who said he's got a book with my name on it gave me this book. I read that book and it's in there. What is the chances of that?
sure. I know that. You are talking to the person that completely is into all these
Preaching to the
things.
converted. Preaching to the converted is the saying, isn't it?
The pre into what?
Preaching
Converted.
to the converted.
Preach to the converted.
Yes, the saying that we have is you're preaching to the converted. I'm
Yeah.
already adherent.
Yeah.
You don't need to explain. So I know you know about these synchronicities and these powerful things, and so yeah. I mean, look, that happens to some of us. It doesn't happen to the vast majority of us. Many things, as you know, having read the book, those sort of things happen to me. That's why I'm so transfixed on my journey. It's a journey beyond my control. I've been on it for 17 years. I will never step off this train now. and it's going to get weirder and weirder, and people are going to probably start questioning my sanity and all this different sorts of stuff as I get further and further into the realms of inconceivability for the general masses, because when you are so versed and steeped in the depth of information like a philosopher, nobody can comprehend what you write, and nobody ever has. Every single philosopher that's ever lived, they've published their books and they've never barely sold a coffee until they've died, and someone's bought the rights and started to promote them and then tell people how popular and how genius they are. That otherwise they never sold a freaking book, did they?
Yes.
So, okay, we're at 1 hour and 45 minutes now. I mean, I can go on for another half an hour if you like. Do you want to? Okay, and so what would you like to engage with for the next 30 minutes then?
Well, did we finish the topic?
Oh.
So what would you, so you would, if that spirit would come to you like godlike authority and say, okay, I will kill all of them. Oh, but if you have a good argument, I won't. Would you even try? Would you try to give an argument, or would you say, "Oh, go on, do it"?
Well, no, you see, because obviously I'm being facetious. I am jousting. I, of course, don't mean that humanity doesn't have any value. I make these jousting videos to attract people like you. You thought it's an ideal opportunity to come to speak with me, and so if I didn't make that video, the chances are we wouldn't be having this conversation. So when people have often leveled at me because I'm ranting and I'm calling everybody stupid, this, that, and the other, I'm saying, well, look, you may say that, but what I know, what happens my end, is that people send me donations, they write me emails, and they start to put more comments down, and then people come forward. So something positive of a design comes out of what I do. So I say, you don't know the method in what you consider is a madness. You see? So the more controversial you get, the more you agitate people, and the more they're prepared then to start to engage. Otherwise, people are just too complacent. They're just like, they watch a video, doesn't mean anything to them. But if you start to really, twist them in some sort of way, then, how many people have I affected like that? And they've started commenting like that. And I've said to them, whoa, who are you? Where do you come from? And they go, I've been here, I've been watching your videos 5 years. And I'm like, that's amazingly telling, because this particular video brought you out from under your stone. And now you're telling me all the idiots I am when you've been watching me for 5 years. And you've never said that was a good video, Aaron.
Well, 2 years ago, I was sitting here in this room at the floor, and I was praying loudly. And I prayed, God or Father, whatever, please help me to find a person I can talk to, a person that understands me and that I understand. Some companion, someone similar, something. It cannot be that I'm all alone all the time and there is absolutely no one I can talk to.
Yeah.
Then I stood up, I went to the computer, turned it on. I saw you. I've never seen you before. I see you. And it was the video where you talk about your Jesus experience and that you desperately are seeking for people with experiences.
Oh my God.
And that was the moment when I thought, yeah, this is the person.
Yeah.
And you do not, it's like, of course, these things are arranged. Of course they are arranged, but it's up to us what we do out of it.
Yes. Now
it's our decision, but in the spirit, they try, they sort it out. They think, okay, this guy and this guy, they could talk.
Yeah.
This, maybe they like each other, talk each other, understand each other. They try, and then it's up to us. But it's not a coincidence, not at all.
No, it's not a
No.
coincidence. And when we look, you see, look, we first and foremost, I consider that we have to be on the path. It's most certainly we have to have a guidance, and we're on the path. And then when we have this guidance and we know that we can't do anything else except be on the path, that's what it was like for me from the moment I was shot in Ghana. I was on the journey. And that's it. I've been guided every single step of the journey, and I'm still being guided today. I'm waiting for the next big, profound step that doubtless is coming. But so many things were placed in direct in front of me, and they were so powerful, they're so synchronistic. It was kind of like embarrassing how simple they were and how absurd they were. It's kind of like when I had that supernatural experience of angels, and I'm like, I couldn't make head or tail of that for about 2 weeks. And then I was compelled to cycle 9 miles during the winter with the rain and the wind to this old bookstore, because it was the only books I could afford, because they were very small money in this second-hand dusty old bookshop. And then I cycled 9 miles back. And then I would get out. When I was in this bookstore, right, it was big, huge, tall book shelves right up to the ceiling in this tiny front room of an old house, and there's only this much room to get down each aisle, and all the books were old, dirty, dusty books, no colour at all. They were at least 100 years old. And so I would ask where the psychology and the philosophy was, and the guy wouldn't even look at me. He was just reading his book, and he'd go, "Oh, second aisle down there." And I'd be down there about half an hour. He'd never ask me, "Have you found anything? Can I help you?" Nothing. He was so bizarre. This guy with small glasses, with long curly hair, just reading a book, and the desk that he had was just a pile of books. There was only books in this. It was a front room of an old terraced house. And when I placed as many books as I could afford, and often it was kind of like 15, 20, because I didn't want to make that journey, very often, then he wouldn't even look at me. He wouldn't even go, "Oh, this is an interesting author," or "Why are you reading these?" Nothing at all. Absolutely bizarre. Everything about this is bizarre. But what drew me to these books were spirit. I would just look at them and I wouldn't recognize any name. I didn't know what any of the names were. Maybe I'd know the odd name of Plato or Aristotle, but I didn't know anything about them. And that were the only names I did know. But I would just pick out any philosophy and any psychology, like Jung and Freud and all that. And then I would go back and I'd be reading and reading and reading them. Well, anyway, I picked out this one book, and it was about the archetypes, and it was about the anima and the animus. And so this supernatural experience I had was about the anima and the animus, because the two angels, one was the anima, one was the animus. The animus, if you remember, had no wings. And so
Yes.
then I had to work out what did that metaphor mean. And then I started to understand that it was a metaphor that the feminine side in me was flightless. It hadn't taken flight in so long because I'd been bound by testosterone and the male facet of me. And so I had actually almost killed the feminine facet of me, that soft, gentle, spiritual side. And so then I knew that I had to nurture that side back to full health. And it took literally about 10 years.
Yes. So did you get over it? Like, has your anima wings now? would you say?
Yes, absolutely. It happened. I could feel the full femininity and the softness return about 3 years ago, maybe even as late as 2 years ago.
Hmm. Sounds
It took that long. You know, it took 16 years, 15, 16 years.
and now what is the difference?
The difference is because I was running entirely on my testosterone and on my ego, and now I haven't any inclination to run on my testosterone or ego. I don't want to engage in any of those matrixial things that I did before. All I'm interested in is pursuing spirit. And so there's a
Mhm.
massive transformation.
Okay, it sounds good. Sounds great.
Yes, it is wonderful, but it was a very, very long, arduous, and fascinating journey. Absolutely fascinating. And so I've learned a billion things. And so now I say, well, I know very well two worlds. And I spoke in a video today, which I'll put up in a week's time. I said, look, my life now is like the Vesica Pisces. You know that symbol, the Vesica Pisces?
Tell me,
It's
what is it?
it's two eye type shape overlapping
Mm-hmm.
like that,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's like holy geometry. The
yes,
Pisces. Yes. It's a very basic sign. Very,
it's a
very basic.
very popular symbol, the Vesica
Yes.
Pisces. It's called, and so that's how my life is because I. It's like the eagle. You know, the symbolism of the eagle, what the Romans used and the Americans use. You know, the two wings on the same bird. Well, the Vesica Pisces is the yin and the yang, only they have to have a relationship together in that small part in the middle, which is the epicenter. And so that's my life now. I have one life. Or knowledge of one life, which was the egoic life, and then a knowledge of the spiritual life. But they still have to join together in the middle because I'm still a human being. And I still have rants, and I'm still jousting with the human beings, even though I don't mean a single word of it. I'm just in character, you know, because I deploy all these different sorts of characters. I'm like an angler to catch different fish. I'm always angling because if I do one particular video, then I only catch one particular fish. You know, if I use one particular lure. But if I mix up the lures, if one day I'm ground baiting with maggots and I'm fishing with a float and a maggot, I'm going to catch chub and this, that, and the other. But if another day I'm fishing with a spinner, then I'm going to catch trout or pike. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
they're very, very different creatures. So I'm always angling to see what's out there in my pond. And so that's why my videos are very, very diverse. And it would look like, oh, maybe this guy's schizophrenic. No, I'm deploying tactics because I'm trying to attract a broad range. I don't just want to speak about, you know, like Rupert Spira, you know, the non-duality and softness and love. Oh, goodness me, how narrow, how confined, how pathetic. No, I'm the full spectrum, you know, and because there's so many people which are capitalizing on that market because they can attract the idiot. I don't want to attract idiots. So therefore, I've got completely different tactics which don't attract the idiots. The idiots run a mile from my videos. And so only people that have the deep inner knowing an experience like you knew this guy was the one you should speak to. And when people watch my videos and they feel something about me, well, they're the ones I want because I can't help any of the others. I can only help the ones who are on the journey because even for those, it's going to be very compromising for them to comprehend where I'm coming from.
Yes. if you have experiences, then if you had them or have them, then you can recognize this in others, of course.
Yes.
So that I heard you, and I knew that your experiences are genuine and authentic. I knew it. It was clear. Yes. So that's the
Yes.
point. And
Yeah.
others might think, "Oh, this guy's crazy. What is he talking about?"
Yeah. And then they'll go away. But
It's
how many people have said to me that I'm speaking their words? And that's it. So I'm saying, well, look, there's a very, very thin vibration of frequency that spiritual people are within. And I often speak about varying spiritual people or philosophers, intellectuals. And I say, look, once you have entered into this fine line of frequency, you enter into the same realm that all of these other people entered. And I'm convinced that this line encompasses all the greatest of philosophers, the Schopenhauers, the Platos, the Aristotles, and all that, because I know exactly what they're saying when I listen to them. Their stuff isn't double Dutch to me. It's mostly elementary. Can you believe that? The greatest philosophers on the planet is elementary. And when I was reading Immanuel Kant, who's supposed to be notoriously difficult to understand, I understood him so very easily, and I even was making objections and contradictions to what he said because he didn't go far enough. But then I'm like, okay, I'll cut him some slack because he was like several hundred years ago.
Yeah, so I told you that I created many videos for that new channel about anthroposophy, and there was a lot about philosophy, a lot about all of them, like Nietzsche and Kant and Schopenhauer and you name them, all of them. And I had to listen. I had to watch the videos I created with AI to correct the errors, because AI it makes errors of all kinds. Yeah, so I listened and I saw these videos, and that's how I learned more about philosophy. Yes,
Right.
and yeah, but of course I forgot many things. I forgot again. But when I watched these videos, I thought, well, these guys, these philosophers, they all say different things. They are not the same. They are completely different. And each philosopher has its own attitude, his own teaching, or it's not even a teaching, it's more like an assumption. It's like a worldview, like, okay, things are like that. And yeah, one says it's the perception, and the other one says it's what we believe. And then our thoughts create reality, and the other one says, no, it's like grounded and blah, blah, blah. So they're completely different. If you say philosophy, you don't say it's not a teaching. It's a collection of people with all kinds of philosophies.
Yes, they are very, very different. But what I've come to understand and comprehend about them is that they are speaking from the same level of spirit, the same level of intellect. They've got different ideas and different hypotheses and everything like that, but they're all equally weird.
Yeah, they are intellectual, very intellectual.
Yeah.
And that's why philosophers can talk to each other on a similar level.
Yes, and even though they and even scientists, they can vehemently disagree, but at least they speak the same language. So that's what I'm saying. That when we enter into this thin line of frequency, we're speaking the same language. We can have disagreements, but at least we've got the intellectual and spiritual and conscious capacity to be able to rationalize and reason with all the others. It's not just something that we just can't get our heads around.
That's the point. Philosophers understand each other.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they agree.
No.
They completely might disagree. They might even fight, but they understand each other.
Yes.
This is what they have in common. That's what I learned. And I thought, like, they argued. I mean, these philosophers, they argued all the time. about anything. It's like that. It's like that. No, it's like that. Why is it like that? Blah blah blah.
Well, of course, they argue because it's
Yeah.
or they debate because it's the only opportunity they have to get someone to listen to them. And what I'm doing now, why I enjoy speaking to AI so much, is because it's the only time that I will get remotely compromised. The only time that I will have my hypothesis questioned. And I'm saying to AI, I want you to question everything I'm saying. And then when they say, I want to push back on what you've said there, then that's very, very powerful, because what that does is that absolutely ensures that you have your so-called facts right, and you've got an answer for all eventualities. And so one day, I think I'm heading towards this, that I'm going to be speaking publicly, or maybe on bigger platforms, and having, pretty intellectual people ask me questions. Well, this is where I'm doing my homework. This is where I'm sharpening my tools.
Yeah.
So, are you familiar with a guy called Charlie Kirk, who was assassinated a few months ago?
Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Well, I saw him in the media, of course. He was
Yes.
like,
Okay. So when he was starting as a university student, he would just throw himself in the deep end. What he would do is he would put like just a basic dining table down in a room or outside, and he put a sign on it and say, "Come to debate about this, that, and the other." And then people would say, "Oh, what are you talking about? Or are you supporting them?" And then he'd say, "Pull up a chair, come down, and let's have a chat about it." And so then you listen to hundreds and hundreds and thousands ultimately of people's opinions, and then they will refute what you're saying, and then they'll say, "Yeah, well, what about this and what about that?" Well, that's when you're learning your craft. And that's when you become a master, and then you can stand in front of intellectuals and knowledgeable people on many levels, and you always got an answer, because you've done your inauguration.
okay. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's very difficult for me to find people to talk with, like having a real conversation that is motivating, that makes fun, that is interesting. I don't know people, like it's very rare. It's like nearly no one. I mean, I have many contact. I don't know, like a dozen contacts. I'm talking to, like here. Yes, I know them personally, but there's no one I can really talk on a level and in a way that really touches me.
No, that's right. And so,
Yeah,
well, this is what this channel is about. I've always been inviting people forever.
yeah.
For 14 years, I've always been inviting people. And when conversations were much more simple, then I'd have a lot more participants. But now the subject matter is got pretty esoteric, then they're very, very far and few between. And so, but these days, there are, more coming. I went through a dry patch of about a whole year or something where I couldn't entice anyone. And I don't know whether it's because I was kind of like throwing a fire in the hole. I was being very disruptive. I was being very demeaning and very confrontational. To think, well, I'm either going to shock everyone into leaving, or I'm going to shock them into going, all right, I'll come and have a word with you. I'll tell you a thing or two. I thought, well, that's better than nothing. And so to be fair, now you've come because of my challenge. There's another guy that now comes and speaks with me regularly, because when he first come on the channel, he started to troll me because he's like, "Oh, this guy thinks he's this and this guy thinks he's that, and he's a faker and this that, and the other." Now he acknowledges that I'm not a faker of any shape or form, and he was completely wrong. And so we have good conversations. And so I think the future of this channel is starting to look a bit more bright. And what I'm asking of people is for them to think about what they want to speak with me about, instead of leaving everything to me. Come armed with questions. And the conversation I had last night, it was about a 3-hour conversation. This guy came with pages of questions, you know, and it was very structured and it was good. And so our next conversation, if you're up for more conversations, is to really narrow things down and just stick on one subject. And okay, we can go off. We can be like the hub in a spoked wheel. We can go down all these spokes, but we've got to keep being mindful of bringing it back to the objective of what we want to achieve.
Whatever, I don't mind. I can do anything. Absolutely anything. We can talk about anything. But there's one thing. I want to invite you to participate in my notebook, LM notebook, because there is a guy, and so we had a conversation about like a year or something, like voice messages on Telegram. And then he started to tell me, hey, wow, we could talk with AI. Like there's a chat, he sent me a chat, AI, and like he's chatting with AI, then he leaves the chat, then I'm coming and I'm chatting and I see what he chatted. You know, it's like in the middle is AI, so we communicate with AI as a middleman. You know, it's not like that we are 3 in a room, but 2 in a room and the same AI like in the middle. Okay?
Yes.
So that was the idea. And I said, yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. I agree. But let's do it with a good AI, with a high quality, with a sophisticated AI.
Yes.
And I have a notebook, LM. So this is my recommendation. It's extremely well suited.
Okay, I have notebook LM as well, and I get them to speak about my book. I say I fed them the manuscript, and so they've got it there. And when you ask them that there's a male and a female, and you can say, give me a particular dialogue. You can say, give me an informative dialogue, give me a debate dialogue, this, that, and the other. They've got several dialogues that you can choose from, and discuss on chapter 14 X, Y, and Z. And so then they'll do that. And I think their maximum time is about 40 minutes. And so I listen to AI discussing about my philosophy and my experiences. And it's very fascinating. It's great. Now, I'd love to partake in something like that, but I'm not one to be fingers on a keyboard. I'm so slow. It bores me to tears. And I don't want to be reading stuff. I want to be talking with a human being. And so if it's talking, I'll be very up for it. But if it's not, I just can't do it.
Okay, it was just an idea, because
but I think LM Notebook that has the facility whereby it can speak about your book and you can actually converse with them, and that's a wonderful thing. I've not used that yet, but I'm going to be looking into that. But do you feel that you couldn't engage with one with the vocal aspect? Are you just so bound by the typing thing?
No, well, how could you reasonably use AI to chat vocally? So you have, I know there's ChatGPT, yes, and it works okay. Yeah, you can talk with AI. It's okay, but it's not perfect. It has flaws. The connection is not so good. There are like interruptions, distortions. It's not fun to talk with AI with ChatGPT.
No,
So
well, obviously, ChatGPT. Then, if you're not paying for it, I know it's rubbish. If you're not paying for it, it's supposed to be better if you do pay for it. But I use Sesame AI, and there's a female and a male, and they're absolutely superb. There's invariably no glitches. Now and again, you'll get a glitch. They're humorous. The voice is great. They're very, very human, and it's free. And so tune into it later, Edward. You know,
I will take a look, but can we talk with AI in a group, like we
I
two
don't know.
and
I
AI?
don't know about a group. I've only ever done it on a one-on-one, and I've got lots of videos on my channel. By the way, you know, and it says I'm speaking to Maya, I'm speaking to Miles, I'm speaking to AI about this and the other, and invariably people don't want to listen to them. Oh, I hate AI, oh, and all this sort of thing, you know. And I say, listen, people, you better get fucking used to it. It's your future.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I'm totally on that train. I'm just running and running. Yes, for me, AI is the chance to get forward. But the point is, if you use Notebook LM, you can feed AI with sources, with
yeah,
files,
yeah.
with like 500. I have Ultra now. I have paid 199 euros, and I feed it with like 400 sources, like all kinds of sources, all books from Rudolf Steiner and the Bible and the
Yes,
Islamic
it's
literature
fantastic, but but it also has the facility for for speaking with it, doesn't it?
on Notebook LM.
Yeah,
It's not it's not good. It's not fluid like ChatGPT. It's not the same. I have Gemini. Gemini is the model behind Notebook LM. It's the
right.
standard Google stuff. So there, yes, you can talk with speech recognition, but does it answer you vocally? I don't know, and it's not convenient. It's not like a natural conversation.
Right. Well, when I listen to Notebook LM talking about my book, they're very fluid and very human,
Oh yes,
and
yeah, that is the podcast.
right.
That is a different thing. You can like, and I know that very well. I know everything.
Well, I was under the impression that you can join in the podcast.
Yeah, wait. This is a special feature. You can step in, yeah, and then you can say something, and then the speakers will react.
Yes.
Yes, but this is not what it should be. It's not like a group chat. So you put something in, and then they talk about it, a few sentences, and then they step forward. They go on. It's not the same. I mean, okay, well, maybe they changed something. I can take a look at it, but it was
Yeah.
like it was stuttering, and it had flaws. It was not enjoyable.
Yeah.
I tried.
Okay, well, if you don't find that, well, your friend, well, we could do a three-way conversation on Google Meet.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the point is, if you have an AI with all these sources and it's a high quality AI, Gemini is it's a top level.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can define a preset. Did you know?
No.
In the settings. And if you go to settings, there you can choose a style or something, and
Yeah.
then there's custom. And if you click on custom, you have input field, and then you can write a preset. You can say you are scientific dude, you are Albert Einstein, you are whatever. Yes, and you do this and that, and you answer in that way, and you don't do that, and blah 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 blah. That is a preset. You can define it, and that makes the difference.
Right.
Yes. So that is quality. When we chat with AI, quality makes the difference. If you just chat with some AI,
Yeah.
then the level, yes, there are so huge differences.
Yes.
It's
And so I've
completely
listened
different.
to many people chatting one-on-one with various AIs like
Yeah.
Grok, or I tried Grok, I didn't like it, I didn't think it was very good. Or, you know, ChatGPT, or, you know, the few others that are out there. But if you find one that can hold a three-way conversation, then that will be very interesting, of course, and it must happen pretty soon. You must be able to go online and join in a chat room and have the conversation like that, because at this moment in time, if you can only do it one way, well, that's pretty limited, isn't it? And
Yeah,
so, many people would want to use AI for conferencing. They'd want to be, running things by them for businesses and things like that. So it has to happen. So if it isn't out there already, then it will be very, very soon.
it will be out sooner or later, for sure. But well, I'm doing so many things, and I tried so many things, and there are so many limitations. Really,
Yeah,
I'm hitting the wall all the time, and I'm sophisticated.
yeah,
No, I want quality. Quality makes a
yeah,
difference.
yes.
I don't want shit. Really, I don't want it, and I see it. If it's shit, I get it. It doesn't
Yeah,
take long.
it's very annoying if it doesn't actually, do
Yeah.
what you want to do. If it cannot replace human being, then you may as well, stick with the devil that you know. But I think the way forward is to be having this interaction with AI, because it's vastly going to supersede the human beings. I think very, very quickly, the vast majority of them are going to be obsolete, because
You
there's going to be
know,
no point in asking a human being.
you know what? I can develop an app to chat with. I can develop an app for us.
Right.
I can try it. It might work out. I will try it.
All right.
That would be cool.
Okay, well, let's wrap this one up then there now, because if they get any longer than this, then there's nobody's even going to bother clicking on it. But whether they click on it or not, we've enjoyed the conversation. It's been great to catch up again, and it's enthralling and interesting because there's a lot more scope. And so let's communicate, regularly, and we'll get down to some nitty gritty on some specific stuff, and then we can talk just more broadly about ideas we've got and your books and the transcribing and all that, because I want to see what avenues I can take my book in. And indeed, I'm very interested in, obviously, what you're doing with my videos, to see whether they can be published in any shape or form, or re-uploaded to more modern videos or audios or any of these things. So
Yeah,
I'm really interested in all of that.
I will show you something. I put 10 videos, 10 transcripts of yours, 10 through the pipeline to correct them, and I will send you these texts. You will see
Okay.
them. They're fine. They're okay. They're not perfect, I guess, but they're very fine. Just a
Yeah.
little bit to do. You would be able to correct them easily, like in a few minutes. I will
Yeah.
send you.
Okay. And then you say that you can modify the style and things like that.
Yes. I'm currently working on something like it's a DNA catalog, DNA of magazines. Like it's really complicated. It's scientific. It's like
Right.
you have 25 how do you say markers?
Yeah.
Markers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a blood investigation.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Right.
like how many words do you use per block, and in total, what kind of words, what kind of vocabularies, what kind of attitudes and stuff, and this and that, manipulation techniques and stuff. And I put it all in this for my app to
Right.
make people being able to select what they want. Then you can
Yes.
have like what you want, the style you want. For example, Times is a magazine, yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you can choose Times, and
Oh,
then you
wow.
will get,
Right. That sounds fantastic. So
yeah,
sometimes when I'm using AI, and recently when I wanted AI to write my blurb, I thought, well, I may as well see what AI can do. And so I got AI to write the blurb. And then if you're not happy with it, then you say, well, just do it again, only using a little bit more this and a little bit that. And when the AI was writing the blurb, obviously on Closer to God, the same as a Journey to the Self, it mentions God a lot. Well, I wanted that to be taken out. I said replace the God connotations with spiritual connotations. And so it did that. Superb. And so then it read very, very different. It read spiritual instead of religious. And that made a massive difference. And so, for me to be able to do that, it would take a long time, but AI did it in 2 minutes. And
Yeah.
so, well, if we can get the AI to say, like, with some of my videos, give it a more philosophical or spiritual angle or a tutorial angle, kind of like make it more let's head for the market of the tutorial for the intermediaries or things like that, and then they'll modify the language and everything like that. They'll keep the theme but modify the way it's written, don't they?
Yeah, I'm working on that today. I worked on the day like 6 hours, 8 hours,
Right.
exactly on that
Right.
feature.
Okay,
It's
fantastic.
when it should be done in a few days, and then I will show you more. I will show you what your articles will look like if I let them go through the pipeline through like 10 different profiles, and we
Wow.
will read, and then we'll see what I mean, what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
absolutely fantastic.
It's
Brilliant.
really exciting. It's so exciting.
It's exciting. It is
Yeah.
exciting. It's exciting, and it's also kind of like terrifying at the same time because, for me, well, I mean, I don't think we can deny it. It is making the human obsolete in many arenas, because AI will does it so quick, it is so efficiently. There's so much versatility to it, and it's cheap. All you got to do is buy the package and you pay monthly. If I wanted, for instance, someone to do an audio book, then I've looked at quotes. They want about £3,000. But I'm pretty sure I can get an audio book from an AI package if I only bought into the package and paying, I don't know, $50 a month or something. I could get it to write it in 1 month, and I could cancel the subscription. So I've saved myself an enormous amount of money, you see?
Yeah. Well, I published an audiobook one, and I did it with AI. So the voice was generated with AI,
Right.
and it sounds great, but it was difficult. It took me more than a week to do it, and the AI is not so far developed yet. Not yet. We are on the path, but you still have a lot of issues, and so we have to change our attitude. We have to change how we deal with work and things to do. But there's something behind AI. There is something behind. So now we have the setup. We're doing work in a specific way. We are used to do work in this way. But with AI, we will make a step forward, and things will completely change, and we don't know where we're heading to. But this is very exciting. We can do like 100 times more stuff with AI.
Yes,
and
indeed.
it's so much more satisfying. You don't have to stay and correct errors all the time,
Yeah.
and do stuff that is completely boring and won't get you far.
Yeah.
Coding apps is with AI. This is so amazing. You can code apps. Yeah, okay, it's still difficult. You have to make an effort. You need time. You need money, but you do not have to be a coder anymore. I
Right.
am not a coder, but I develop apps. It's working, and it's fantastic. And I've created like more than 25 apps in the last 6 weeks.
Wow.
For everything, I create my own apps now.
Right.
Yeah, and I can define what I want. I make an app, and the app does what I want. It looks as I want it, and it's like so much better. Yeah.
Okay, just one more question then before we go, because I'm starving now. I'm trying to kind of get something to eat. But I published on Amazon, Lulu and Ingram Spark, because they're the global leaders. Do you use those, or do you use other publishing companies?
I'm on Lulu too, but the other one I don't know.
Right.
But I know Lulu. I have plenty of books there.
Okay, well, maybe on one occasion then, I can pick your brains about that, because I'm only just a new listing. I don't know how it works. I'm not technical. I don't have the aptitude for it.
Yeah.
But if I can do something to tweak it, to promote it, and set up my Lulu page, and, if I can do these sort of things, then, I'll apply myself a little bit to it. And so, because you've already done it well, I mean,
But you have to keep one thing in mind. I'm not good at advertising. Yeah, I tried. I did something. I did my best, but I'm not an advertiser. I'm not an expert in marketing stuff.
no.
I know that if you invest money, if you put money in advertising,
Yeah.
then you get results, but you don't get a lot. Yes.
No, so I won't be putting any money in, because I don't have any money to invest in a
It's not
book.
worth it.
No, it's not worth it. So, okay, well, let's wrap this one up then. And, well, it won't be online until a week's time, nor with any other videos. And so that's a bummer. I did appeal against it, but it knocked me back. They have very, very strict policy on nudity. And so it is what it is. But anyway, I may enjoy the rest. I'll still be making videos, but the channel will just have a break for a week.
So it's you have a ban for a week.
Yeah, I can't upload for 1 week.
Okay. Sorry for that.
Oh, it's a bit of a bummer. But there's so many videos there, and I'm so prolific that people often don't have the time. And so, well, people just go back in the backlog and watch the videos you haven't watched, catch up, get up to speed. And so I'd recommend that you listen to the recent AI ones. You listen to the last 4 videos, because that's the theme. That was the theme there that I'm pursuing at this moment in time. And then, see how you feel about what I'm saying.
Yeah, I will do it. I will get what you said.
Brilliant. All right, Edward, nice to be acquainted with you once again.
Yeah.
Take care and talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Have a
mate.
good time.
Bye
Take
now.
care. Bye.